Talkin Sauce, episode 123.
ABC. We just got kicked off of YouTube. They just demonetized our whole video.
It's cold. It was never monetized. There was never. This thing's not making anybody any money.
It's making
It's costing us money and
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
You all owe me expenses. This is ridiculous. What was also ridiculous was the morning of the expansion draft, which was yesterday. The entire roster pretty much just leaked Twitter, which is like exciting, basically. And it was exciting for just like some drama type shit, just some shit happening type shit, and good information as far as the leak goes. Really lame though, isn't it?
It is lame. I think it's the NHL's fault,
or the team in general, just all of it being very sloppy.
Well, it's they had
they
had them like lock their picks in like it was 10 hours before coverage was supposed to start. It's like, dude, you give these insiders, you look like the NFL draft, dude. The insiders literally have the 3 minutes that the team hasn't even made their pick yet, and those are getting tweeted out before the shit's even announced on television.
Yeah,
you give them 10 hours. I mean,
yeah.
Of course, everything's going to be announced because it's not just Seattle. Seattle,
right?
The teams that players are getting taken from know, and there's all the rights holders. Stuff
some of these guys were present to wear the jersey for the fans. Like some of these guys were there, and so to your point, like teams knew who they were losing.
Yeah.
What a bunch of snitches! What a bunch of fucking. I mean, hey, that's the game.
Yeah.
And obviously shows good work. These people are doing their jobs.
Yeah.
As moles and
journalists. The NHL should have done, because the Twitter hype is good, but just like the NFL, going back to the NFL draft, you want that moment where turn your picks in 30 minutes before coverage starts. Then even when the insiders are leaking stuff early, people are watching and you're on your phone refreshing the timeline trying to see stuff.
Yep.
People are interacting about it, and that's how you create that just big.
It's already bad,
moment.
And it's already bad enough, in my opinion. Like obviously the interaction, impressions, and engagement for the brands and the teams and the fans is good, but also it's not as good as like the people who are like desperate to be the first one to react.
Yeah.
To have that most like, oh aha, look at this type moment. And when all the information comes out before the thing itself, that's even worse. You see what I'm saying? And then that shit happens. It's all just corny.
Well,
it's all just really corny.
It all happened so far ahead of when coverage started that like we found out, everyone had their conversations about it, everyone decided how they felt about it, and then they were like, tune in at 8 p.m. or whatever, and I didn't even watch it. I think you said you did.
I did.
So.
I ended up putting it on.
Was it even good? Like, it
was okay. I mean, like I could see being there and loving it. The scenery was amazing. They had it on like the edge of a fucking water.
Nice.
Not necessarily like a big dock or anything, but like this big pretty waterfront where the background was a huge lake or wherever. Fucking mountains on the other side of that lake you could see in the distance, and they had like obviously a big border, but then like countless public boats and kayaks and stuff, people like lined up back there to watch from the back. So then you had the stage there, Ron Francis at the podium, and then a couple of hosts, one of them who didn't seem to know what the fuck was going on.
That's good.
And
is that an ESPN guy?
Yeah, I think so. I forgot it was ESPN coverage. And then I watched it on Hulu, and then shit ton of fans. And they pretty much had like every person announcing the pick was like some way Seattle hometown related, whether it was like another athlete from the Seahawks or just a different sport.
That's cool.
Or like they had Macklemore, I think, who did like the first or second one.
Of course.
Yeah, fuck Macklemore, dude. And then
did they draw it out real long?
Yeah, they did a good job of drawing. I mean, for what it was.
Did it feel like was it a good balance, or did it feel?
No, that's the thing. It felt long, like I was watching a thing that did like it wasn't like the draft lottery where the shit's just over and then the analysis is way longer. It was a thing.
But I also like it not to be. You were like, oh sweet, they got him, and then it's like, all right, 10 more minutes, we find out who the next guy.
No, they moved that shit along. No, they moved that shit along. It wasn't like, oh, the pick is in type shit.
Yeah.
They moved that shit quick. And the players did a good job too, like coming out and engaging with the fans a little bit.
That's cool.
Some of it was pretty funny. They had Tanev out there, And his fucking big dumb ass, he's like, where's Seattle? And then at the end, they're just like, all right, thanks. I forget, is he Brandon? Or is he, because his brother's Chris in Vancouver.
I think this was Chris, wasn't it?
I can't remember. Probably.
I think Brandon's in Vancouver, and I think this was Chris.
And they're like, all right, thanks, Chris. And then he's like, yeah. He's like, he just continues to stand with the mic and just like stares off and like, all right, man, get the fuck out of here. He's just like, all right, we're like up here now. That shit was awesome.
I'm chilling.
Yeah, no, it was good. It
was good.
I had a buddy, a big fan favorite of the podcast.
He's been on the podcast.
Gus.
Yeah, he's been on the pod.
Gus, my man, he lives in Seattle, and he was there
on a boat.
I don't know if he was on a boat. He is a boat captain.
He is a boat captain. He was just out there marrying people.
I didn't ask. I didn't ask how he attended it, but he said he was there. Said he
does he have a jersey and shit already?
I don't know.
Because that's got to be his team now, right?
Him and I are such nerds. We just started talking about like our thoughts on the team, which I guess
we can jump right into that.
Jump into that.
They got both Fleury brothers.
They got both the Fleury brothers, man. They
what a couple years or a year for Hayden, dude. He's just fucking been in Charlotte for like 6 years, and then it's like Anaheim, Seattle.
Well, he had mentioned too. He hadn't played with his brothers since they were like 5.
That's pretty sick.
Which is kind of rare for like brothers. You feel like they would at least get like through Bantam or something together. I guess it depends on the age gap, right?
Yeah.
So,
that's sick though. They're up there together. Good for the parents. You know, it makes it easy. The whole order,
or not the whole order, the whole roster is very defensive depth heavy.
Yeah, I got Giordano. We're kind of jumping all over.
Giordano's gone, man. The captain of the Flames, career-long Flame.
Yeah, and
their captain.
It's kind of, I think a storyline's kind of started here, and we've even talked about it, like over the past year on the podcast. I think Vegas really screwed Seattle over. Like, people are kind of trashing them for some of the picks they made. Not really trash them so much as they're kind of bewildered, I guess. And Flames GM, what's his name? Is it Treliving?
That sounds right.
Treliving, whatever it is.
Brad Treliving.
Yeah, he came out and was like, Seattle approached him saying, like, if you don't want us to take Giordano, like,
we need 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, like XYZ is the price, and they were like, it was too steep for us. And they were just kind of like, I think teams learn from Vegas.
Business.
They're like, there's a couple teams that got taken for a ride by Vegas, and it didn't work out. The guy they wanted to protect didn't work out or whatever. I think teams now were like, we're just going to let what happens happen. We'll let you make the mistake. We did what we had to do. And I think Francis might have, or the Seattle may have gotten a little greedy in the things they were asking for in return.
Oh, 100%. They could have made some really good hockey moves had they not been so. Well, Vegas hosed everyone, so we're gonna hose you too. We have all the playing cards.
Vegas left with like 12 extra draft picks and like 2 more players, and
with that, and that kind of became apparent too with as the picks unfolded, because then it was like, all right, well, since no one's gonna give us the superstar for all these picks, we're gonna have to just bulk up.
Yeah,
they fucking bulked, dude. Okay, they got people like Alexiak. They got fucking.
And they picked him up in free agency technically.
Well, some of these guys are still unsigned. But we'll almost have no reason to not sign, and they obviously would have an interest in paying them a little bit. Whereas otherwise they might have to take less than another team. Yeah. But these are just not small people. These are not small people at all. Alexander True's a big boy who likes to play. Brian Tanev likes to play.
I mean, their defense really isn't that bad. It's not exactly high scoring, but
So Gus and I were talking about it. Let me actually pull that text up real quick. Apparently,
shouts out Gus.
And this is so all credit to him, but he's thinking of it like this, where you got Giordano obviously and some right-handed defensemen. TBD on that. Vince Dunn and Larson, Hayden Fleury and Cale Fleury. Now
Vince Dunn's pretty sick.
Vince Dunn could be a top 2 one day.
Yeah.
Now hear me out. What if that other right-handed defenseman's Dougie Hamilton?
Well,
bruh.
They said they couldn't, and obviously they can circle back, but they couldn't come to a deal.
Right.
With this past expansion draft. So
just hear me out though. Giordano, Dougie, Dunn, Larson, Fleury.
Well, we already know that Giordano and Dougie work. They fucking They
played together,
and there was until Dougie started playing with Slave, and it was some of his best years. We're standing there, we're next to Giordano. Alexiak is good,
big bombs,
big bombs, big boy.
He's I think so with Chara. I think Chara retired.
He's like the tallest guy in the NHL now.
Heaviest.
Okay.
Maybe the tallest, but heaviest.
It's got to be him or like Ben Bishop, right?
Dead
They're
ass.
like 6'8".
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wild. Who else have they got there? They got
that Tanev, Donskoy, because they
goal scoring there.
They couldn't work out a deal with Landeskog.
Exactly.
Who I think is kind of might have to come to terms with the market as well. Apparently, his ask is around like $10 million.
Oh, he's bugging.
And
I mean,
I'm a huge fan. I mean, Hurricanes should absolutely sign him.
They should. I'm sure they're doing their due diligence.
You got to, right?
I mean,
you gotta kick the tires.
He was the second youngest captain in the NHL in history.
Still only 28.
Shit. Yeah, I mean, what the fuck?
He's a winger.
And he's beautiful.
Put him on. He's beautiful. Put him on.
Not making him an object. I'm just saying.
I know that guy. I bet he loves golf, dude. Come to North Carolina, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Dead ass.
Let's pitch him.
Who's the worst pick on this list?
Tanev, low key, just because of the contract, is interesting.
Okay.
Not that I think he's still a serviceable NHL player, but he's getting paid like $5 million a year, isn't he?
Is he?
It's something kind of crazy. Because
it is Brandon, by the way.
It is Brandon.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because he got one of those Rutherford contracts. One of those, like, he loves to give money out to his boys, so I think he was a recipient of that.
A 5 or a 2, I don't care. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Not my money, fuck it.
Yeah. How about Jared McCann getting traded to the Leafs, and then they're like, thanks? Or did Dubas go, nah, we want to trade for a player who we feel is good enough to where Seattle can't resist, and then that saves everyone else who we had to leave protected, who I'd really prefer to keep.
Maybe.
Or did he just get unlucky, and he thought he was going to squeeze one by him?
Who, Dubas?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably just got a little lucky, to be honest.
No, I'm saying unlucky, where he thought he was going to sneak by him, and he just didn't. It's one or the other.
Maybe a little
is what I'm saying.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
It is what it is.
Apparently, speaking of the Leafs, you see they're working on a sign-in trade with Edmonton for Zach Hyman.
Yeah, I saw that.
Him, like, I forget however much, like an 8 year deal.
Yeah.
And trade him over there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad for Edmonton, I guess.
I think him on McDavid's line. I mean, he excelled at times with Matthews.
Yeah.
I mean, just from a skill.
He is one of those
pairing with some skilled player,
middle 6 to bottom 6 guy who he can play with or skate with the big dogs. But just can't generate. But anyway, who do you think is like the worst player picked up? No, maybe not worst. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You get it.
Probably some of these guys I don't know.
Expert analysis.
We are the experts.
But like, who's the worst of like, or maybe most surprising from like guys that you knew were available?
I'll tell you what's surprising, a little bit, that they didn't take Price.
That is a little surprising.
They don't have a goalie, man.
Welcome to the club.
Kane said us too.
Yeah, that was interesting. I guess again, maybe if you're looking at the contract, maybe that's why, because he's getting paid 10. What's his contract at?
Who's this Price? Yeah,
Price. Like 10 shit. 10 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So
for another 2-3 years.
Yeah, maybe that's why. I don't know. They really didn't spend much money in this expansion draft.
They still have a lot of cap space.
A lot of cap space.
We talked about. I mean, obviously the Dougie thing didn't work out, and you mentioned the circle back thing.
Yeah.
Now they know they have a lot of money to play with, and you get yourself through maybe a couple future picks, get traded for a goalie. Maybe you throw Dougie a nice little paycheck. You got yourself a scary team.
At least a scary defense. We'll see how the forwards end out.
So I was telling Gus, I feel that if this team has success, it's going to be in a similar way that happened with Vegas, minus just being able to rely on Fleury to really just carry you through those tough situations. But you have a strong, tough team built deep defensively with a very defensive play style, and then you happen to have a couple playmakers who just emerge a little bit.
Yeah.
Look what happened with Riley Smith and Carlson.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I was going to say
everyone took them for granted when those guys got picked up. No one thought they were bad players, but for those guys to be your relied on top players, everyone was like, "There's no way." William Carlson was top 3 in goals by the end of the year, if not close to number 1.
Yeah.
So it's just like
who would be that? Because he was like
guys.
he was like a third liner coming out of Columbus doing okay.
Exactly.
Who's a guy that you could see possibly?
So I mean, Mason Appleton's one from fucking Winnipeg. He's a center, playmaker center. Just a lot of young with a lot of upside.
Yeah.
So I think that's possible to as a guy. Geeky potentially.
Low-key, depending, if they play more to his speed, I think he's got the skills.
If the line chemistry is there, Donskoy could score more than 20 goals.
Goudreau, is he an Islander now? Where'd Barclay Goudreau end up?
He's not on this team, but I think he might still be with the Sharks.
No, because he went to Tampa, won his cup.
Is he with the Wild?
No, I swear it might be the Islanders. Could you look that up real quick, Dylan? Barclay Goudreau, Goodrow. Jesus Christ.
And who else here? I mean, Eberle's obviously a threat.
Yeah. You can't count him out.
No. So I mean, and Vince Dunn too on the power play.
Yarncroke, that's not bad.
Yanni Gord.
Yeah, Gord. Yeah.
There's a lot of things here.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces, and they've left themselves a lot of room to make some free agent moves later, maybe some trades. I'm just interested to see what Francis does with money, because he never had money when he was a GM in Carolina. You know what I mean?
And he didn't have a lot of control. I feel like he does now.
I don't know where he's at.
Yeah,
the Flames.
He's with the Flames. Oh. Okay. Oh, interesting.
So yeah, the expansion draft happened. Marshawn Lynch did his thing. Who did he pick? I think they had him announce.
They better have been one of the top 5 picks.
Well, I'm saying they did him dirty. I think they had him announce
like the 13th pick.
Yarncrook.
Oh, really?
They made Marshawn Lynch say Kale Yarncrook. It's fucked up, man.
Shouts out Kevin
Weeks. They put him all over the map. In Seattle, filming different bits with different athletes and people in the community, like healthcare workers and public service workers and firefighters and all that shit, like announcing picks and stuff. So that was cool. Yeah, that was probably one of the cooler bits.
He recently got an ESPN broadcasting contract.
I guess he would have to be on this shit, right?
So I mean, awesome. It was a huge opportunity for him. I always liked him on the desk with NBC and everything.
If I were to care about an ESPN broadcast, he's going to be at the forefront of a reason to watch.
Yeah,
of all the TV analysis. So, yeah, I mean, Seattle obviously has a lot of work ahead of them, but they have a very sound roster to start with and a lot of cap space. So we'll see what happens.
Were you surprised that Jake Bean didn't get taken?
A little bit. It was him or Geeky, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a little surprised. I think fans were split.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't want to see Geeky go personally. I would have maybe preferred them take Bean. And kind of a bit of a segue too with all the trades that happened today. I feel like with Bean, part of the concern and why we let him be an exposed player is because you have a guy like Ghost, right, who didn't really work out in Philly. He ended up being traded today for basically nothing and some stuff. So
not even basically nothing, literally nothing. Yeah, nothing came back the other way.
And some other shit for.
He was like a 3rd and a 7th.
Yeah, so they'll take his contract. He's a very usable defenseman, but not worth the money, right? And
yeah, like $4.5 million for another 2-3 years.
Yeah, they went all in on a guy who was supposed to have a lot of positive upside. It
was like Victor Rask was for the Hurricanes, years ago. Speaking of Francis and guys getting. If it works out, it ends up looking like Jacob Slavin and Brett Pesci's contract. When it doesn't, you end up having to give away draft picks just to get the contract off your books. So
never gonna not be sore about that. To a GM who is known for making bad decisions. Yeah, we let anyway. Fucking what were we saying?
Talking about Ghost, Jake Bean.
Yeah, so they're comparable. I think that's where the hesitation may come from. But hey, we still have a player in him to work with.
Yeah,
and to sign him.
And no, I think he's still under his rookie. He might have another year
left. So we're gonna be using him.
Yeah, we don't have much choice.
We got him.
Speaking of
we don't
not
have
having much choice, dude, no goalies. So the rights for Alex Nedeljkovic traded to Detroit for the rights to Bernier and a 3rd-round pick. And Nedeljkovic immediately signs a 2-year, $3 million deal.
A sweetheart of a deal.
Obviously,
a beautiful little bridge deal.
Getting traded. I don't know if
I think he signed that deal just to spite us.
Because I don't know how arbitration works all the way. Does he still have arbitration rights after a trade like that, or do you have to like?
That's a good question. I think he might waive them by being or see, that's the difference. I don't know if he has an option to allow the trade, right? He can't refuse the trade.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So
I think it's something to do with like you have to. I feel like it's something to do with like you have to play X amount of games or whatever with the team or like something like that, and then you have arbitration rights.
I would just see it being waived because you're no longer negotiating with the team who those arbitration rights were agreed to at the time of your contract. I don't know. Like it seems like something that would get waived. Well, or like to your point, you would have to play X number of games with that new team anyway, which you can't because it's off season.
Because that's what the big worry him with the Hurricanes was. The Hurricanes were afraid of
he would get awarded way too much.
They were afraid it was going to end up around like the $5.5 million mark, and it's like we can't.
Yeah,
I love Nedeljkovic. Don't get me wrong.
They said your playoff numbers were how good?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
here's $5 million,
and it's a guy who, again, no offense to him, but was a career like .904 save percentage in the AHL, and I think he's going to be a great goaltender in the NHL, but it's just like you don't know it. We have a lot of money or a lot of people, and not a lot of money really to spread it all around.
But if you look at it on the other side, for Detroit, what an amazing
trade.
An amazing trade. You give up a third-round pick. Was there another pick?
No. It was him and the rights to Bernier.
Right, the rights to Bernier, which I don't even know if we're going to play with or not.
Probably not. He's like...
we'll get to that in a second.
Maybe if he wants to sign like for a couple mil and play
if he wants to play with Reimer again.
Or if we bring Mrazek back.
Yeah, but to get into that in a second. Damn it. It'd be after 5 on the.
It'd be after 5
when you work all day.
Yeah, it's a fact.
You're just
burnt
absolutely burnt.
Steve Yzerman, we're gonna get into a Stevie Y.
The man is just an absolute genius. Yes, he acquires a very young, promising goaltender who comes off a sick playoff performance.
Oh yeah.
And
has an even bigger chip than he already had now.
Signs him to a 2-year deal, 2.5 the first year, 3.5 the second year, and if it works out, then you have an opportunity to renegotiate with this incredible career goaltender for your team if he performs. If he doesn't, he's gone.
Yeah, and he's young. He's young as shit.
Lose nothing. You risk nothing.
Yeah,
you are amazing, Stevie Y. You
young as shit.
You are a legend.
To go with a young as shit team, you know what I'm saying?
You built a core in Tampa, and you handed that bitch off like a quarterback.
Yep. And
just sat back, doing a new thing.
Yep. He's like, man, that's not even fun over there anymore.
You're over here with your little scraps, tinkering, just fucking brainstorming some crazy shit. Thinking about this Ned trade and everything that's going to happen, just like the Kevin Feige of this shit with your MCU fucking plans. And all the while you're cocking that up, your baby's doing its thing.
Yeah.
The machine you built over here is fucking booming.
Yeah.
He's
Did
fucking
they send him
Einstein.
A ring, dude? They sent him 2 rings. They better have sent him 2 rings.
They fucking better have.
Thanks,
they better.
Thanks, bro.
Yo.
Thanks. We appreciate it down here.
I mean, come on. Whoever else he has around and helping him make these decisions, man. He's a smart guy.
Yeah. And not a lot to lose out there in Detroit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
doesn't get much worse, so might as well go
there's
for
a lot worse goalie acquisitions they could have went for, or any team could go for, and this, for any team, is the best case scenario for getting Ned here, being Detroit.
Yeah.
So good for everybody except us. We have no goalies. This is a typical thing. Do we go back to Ned? Like, yo, Ned, man, our bad. We should have signed you.
Like in a couple years.
I just don't. Or no, sorry, not Ned.
Mrazek?
Peter, yeah. I don't get it.
You know, I mean,
does he want to though?
I would imagine he would, depending on what he's asking. I suppose, it depends on.
And man, it just seems like with the way this Ned thing went, it just seems like we are not putting a lot of money out there.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but we're not.
I mean, I think Dougie's got a lot to do with it. To be honest with you, I think he is a priority,
and we need Svetch in another year.
Yep, and then it's going to be Natchez.
Oh God, this team's going to get. Oh God.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of forwards in the pipeline, so it's
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
It's a tough thing out here.
I really do. I think the Dougie thing's really holding it all up right now.
I don't know. For some reason in my head, he's gone. So it's just like
we've kind of been leaning that way. Like
But I guess but to your point, if that were the case, I don't think we would have traded Ned like this, right? There's your $3 million you were talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Our best goalie, our highest paid goalie, has getting paid like $800K right now, and he's not an NHL goalie.
No, I think he's probably like the ECHL
that we have under contract.
Yeah. We have. We traded for.
He's about to have a lot of pressure on him.
We traded for fucking what's his name, dude? We made that. Oh fuck.
What's that?
Is it like something Hill?
Helvig?
No. This was like our one trade that happened before the protection list deadline. We trade. He's some nobody goalie.
It was probably just to make sure we kept the correct number of goalies on the roster.
Yeah, I think we brought him in just to expose him. I think is how it works.
Gotcha.
You would know his name though, because he's been like passed around as like the third or fourth goalie, where everyone's like, maybe this could be a great thing if it works out, and he's just he
never gets played.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Speaking of smart business decisions, dude, Arizona pulling in. Not only did they get Gostisbehere for no return, they bring in Andrew Ladd and got 2 second-round picks and maybe a third if Andrew Ladd decides to play in 2 years.
It's a good move.
A good move, using up their cap space.
And then the Islanders get some off their books.
Yeah, a lot of money. I think it was like, what would we say it was, like $5 million? That's a team that needs to get money off their books.
Well, and Lou's just like, I'm trying to get some shade-faced people in here. So. I read something, he was looking to maybe go after Suter and Parise, and I did see that. I tweeted, I was like, oh, well, they don't usually have beards anyway.
Yeah, they'll love it. Suter is going. I'm interested to see where he ends up more than Nashville. I am Parise. You going back,
I'm just throwing shit out. They're both going. He's going to Nashville, and Parise is going to New Jersey.
Full circle, baby. Yeah. I feel like did another trade happen? Am I making that up in my head?
We mentioned the Ghost trade.
The Ghost trade.
There's probably another one. I don't know if there was any as notable. There might be one happening right now we're missing.
Probably, right?
Who cares?
The Goudreau trade, we mentioned that. I think that's it, dude. I saw Bettman didn't comment on the whole Chicago situation. He made like a point to say.
He was finally asked.
Yeah.
Or like he was finally cornered.
Yeah, and he was like, we're not talking about it, basically.
I saw a statement from Cheveldayoff with the Jets, who was employed around the same time, and he had said he had no knowledge of it, and he had no knowledge of it until he was asked about it at the time that guy was brought in question back when Ulrich was employed.
Okay.
So he was like, I didn't know anything about it until they asked me about it back then. Okay. And back then, I didn't know shit. And if I did, I would have said something. And if people come and ask me some shit now, I'll cooperate. But I had no shit.
Yeah.
So that was his statement. A lot of people were just like, bullshit. Which, again, based on the other quotes and stories, that's just not the case. That too many people knew, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? We don't know.
Everyone's
we weren't
protecting
there.
their own ass at this point,
right?
Including the league.
Correct.
Which is fucked up.
Which is fucked up of the league by far and above anyone else. Personally, the league should do a much better job of making an example of this person. Should have done a much better job ahead of this. That's usually the case. It's always about what they should have done. And it's unfortunate. That's got to be talked about in hindsight.
Yeah.
In similar light, what's the young man's name?
Oh,
you had the last name. I don't remember.
It's like Maillous. Mayu, something like that.
Swedish. Is he a Swedish player? He was in the
like
Swedish European League. And he had a charge for sexual misconduct over there. And he was a potential draftee in this upcoming draft.
A high draft,
and he was high, and this was not unknown information amongst scouts and media, and they were still kind of putting him up there on projection lists. And I guess that's just based on he's not being not part of the list, right? They got
Well, those guys.
They keep his name around.
The guys who just run blogs and stuff, they are only privy to so much.
That's true. Some of them might have been a little bit more, especially like the blogs, right? We're not talking about like TSN and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I think those were some of the lists though that had,
were they?
You know what I mean? And people were like, well, what the fuck? But more recently, he came out and made a statement saying he was going to withdraw himself from the draft, and maybe he'll try again next season. I mean, at a bare minimum, that's a requirement here.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do that. It's definitely a sign of desire to grow, and hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, it did come after he was taken off of most teams' draft
Of course.
boards, though.
Yeah, I'm not trying to really give him any credit. It's just how it looks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it reminds me of that. Who's that?
There's nothing good about it.
Who's that fucking other kid? The one who like Arizona ended up drafting,
and then renounced the pick.
Yeah, and then they were literally like, never mind. Like,
yeah. So I mean,
if
we honestly, again, like, if I'm gonna take a step back and look at both of these situations, this for the public, I guess, like the societal progression of it, right? It's a step forward.
What do you mean?
Well, just in the sense that Arizona let that kid slide to where they picked his ass, and then had to be like, never mind, we don't even want him, and we renounced the pick. This kid didn't let himself get that far. And I'm not giving him the credit. I'm just saying for the societal evolution, is that progress?
I guess I would. I don't know. I would have to know.
That's too analytical.
Kid. You know, I would now. You'd have to know, like, is this kid just playing the numbers where he's like, in a year, more fucked up people are going to do more fucked up shit. I might be able to slide back into that draft, get picked up in the fourth round, and then it ends up
wrong,
being, you know,
like,
it ends up being
that's
his
such
story.
a matter of fact way that it will likely be approached.
Yeah, and his agent probably
that's what his
told
agent's
him that.
telling
yeah.
you that. Yeah, his agent's 1,000. That's his
He's
agent's
like, listen,
job to tell him that.
You
we
keep
just live
playing
in a fucked
your
up
fucking
world.
game here in Sweden or whatever.
And see, the whole thing is like, and this is, we are here to talk about like that implication on the sport, right? But the fact is like, all that really doesn't matter for both of these guys, in the sense that like what they did to make them a talking point never should have happened in the first place. So it's just like, it's all just mute after that in terms of like what's going to happen with them or how this affects the teams, because it's just like, these guys shouldn't have done what they did to begin with. And so it's just like, it's just not good. It's all just fucked up.
Yeah, real fucked up. And you know, and from reading everything that I read, it seemed like all he had to do was like genuinely apologize type of thing.
Right.
And all the teams were like, it felt more like they felt like the kid was more vindictive about it than he was like apologetic.
Right.
So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's all super
fucked up. We'll see what happens, I guess. Hopefully, I don't know.
You can like in your heart want that person to grow, and you definitely wish the absolute best in life for the victims of these things. And you want nothing but healing and support for them. And for the people who make these mistakes, these unforgivable often mistakes, just become the best person you can be until you go away. And that's not even on some like, hey, this is me telling you or anyone, you know, I'm no fucking body. But what other choice do you have, right? If you're alive, make the most of what you got left. If you fucked up, that's all I know. Yeah. I've never fucked up like that. I don't intend to. No. But that's not the point. And when you're still alive, what are you gonna do? You ain't gonna fucking crawl in a hole. Yeah.
Speaking of fucked up shit, on that same kind of shit, dude, though, you see the Activision whole lawsuit. This is off of hockey. We're going dark. We'll bring it up at the end, dude.
And just, you know, because we talked about it a little bit, not to go into the over details of what happened there, right? There's a lot of trigger warning stuff there.
Definitely, some real fucked up shit. But they're in some
absolute despicable actions.
The state of California has brought up the lawsuit against Activision. Like,
now, can you explain at least, because I didn't understand that part, how the state is filing a civil suit?
The higher level legal shit. I think it's in the same vein of like.
Is it like a class action type thing, or?
I don't know. It's whatever the same thing. You know how like.
I'm not looking it up, but I am listening.
But with stuff with like the cops, how like someone can drop charges and then you still get charged.
No, dead ass.
It's like it's that type of thing. I just don't know.
I don't see, but like usually, but in that case, whether someone presses the charges, it's still going to be that governing body against you, and then when they if they get dropped and then that person pursues, it's that person putting the civil charges. So that's where like
that's what I'm saying is the person can drop the charges and the state can choose to continue them, even if it starts out civil, like me versus Dylan on some shit, and Dylan's like, never mind. The state can be like, no. Like, we're gonna keep this shit going. We don't care if Dylan's involved.
But that's usually only in criminal matters. I don't think civil matters can.
This
I guess
this is
it
criminal.
depends on the
yeah.
act. Oh,
this is criminal. Yeah. But that's yeah.
I thought it, but see, my bad, because I thought it was a civil suit.
Yeah, no, I think
they were doing criminal shit.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a civil suit. Oh,
yeah,
I'm clear
I think
now.
it's criminal.
That makes sense then.
Yeah.
That's that all. Just I'm clear. I'm good now.
Yeah, I could be wrong too.
No, the state would be the ones to do the criminal shit.
Yeah,
we're good.
So
because if the state,
it's just like suing Activision for money, like
it was like it's basically like this is the same way. This is the same way mobs go down. Like it's not like like fucking so and so. Hey, this you assaulted this guy and this guy's bringing down the mob. No, it's the state sat there and collected evidence on you to where they could press charges.
Yeah,
at some fucking higher level.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. Activision's come out and said like they like their words are basically like they assembled this too hastily and like we're gonna take care of it. Basically, like that
Who's
was
they?
active. Like they're the state. They're like the state. Like their response was like the state did this, like they threw this together a little too quickly. Like we're gonna be able to.
So they were bragging.
Low key felt like that. They were on some like
we're gonna get away with this.
I'm never
type. Yeah,
I'm never playing Activision again, dude.
It's real fucked up. It's real fucked up. If like you said, we're not gonna get into the gritty details. You can look it up if you're listening and shit. But I do hope people are
held accountable.
Yeah. Brought to
accountability.
Justice. Accountability, man. Accountability.
Really don't know where to go from there. It's kind of tough.
I don't know either, dude. Hockey. When is the draft? Next draft.
I think it's this Saturday.
Is it this Saturday?
No shit.
I think it's this Saturday.
Look at that right there.
Yeah.
Look at that right there.
How about that right there?
How about? I think the Hurricanes picked like 23rd or something like that. Middle of the pack,
Man, all 2009 all over again,
yeah,
baby.
For real, dude.
We're just back in the shit.
For real.
This is, hey, Tom, this is what you paid for.
Yeah, Middle League, baby. Yeah, dude.
Corona's really over.
Hopefully.
No, just kidding.
Might be on the upswing.
I don't even want to talk about that.
No.
Yeah.
Just because it, like, I don't get it. Not that, like, science, like, flus have variants and all that shit. Like, that's normal. But, like, I just don't get, like, the names.
Dude.
What do you mean you know?
Science,
I don't get it either.
There's just some nerd gets to name it.
Is it
man.
just
What do
like
you
Delta
expect?
Gamma? Because that's just like the hierarchy of like.
There's some sort of convention somewhere.
Yeah.
There's some emails written back and forth. Some memos are sent out. One guy, names a file something and gets sent to someone else. Like, this is the name now.
I know.
I guess, like, why is it okay to name natural disasters after people but not viruses?
Well, viruses sometimes are named after people. John Hopkins disease.
Fuck off. You know what I mean.
That's one.
You know what I mean. But you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's hurricanes. What other natural disasters are named after people?
Like a star is named after a person? Or is it an acronym?
That's bullshit. Like
what?
you mean
What's
like
bullshit?
You mean like pain to have a star named after you? Or
No, I think you said SARS.
Oh, SARS.
SARS.
I thought you said stars. I was like, where are you going with this?
The original.
I don't know where
the
that
original
came.
COVID.
Well, that's an acronym.
That's what
Yeah.
I asked. Yeah, it's an acronym. Yeah. Is stars an acronym?
Dude, speaking of stars and fucked up, dude, how about Jeff Bezos sort of kind of not really going to space in his cowboy hat?
I want to just like nip this in the bud, just because there's too much discourse about this that's totally like misunderstood and misconstrued. To be like, oh, the billionaires are going to space, can't you? First of all, and then just like ethically, I think we should be focusing on the planet before we worry about getting off of it. But we're not. So here we are. This is a massive innovation for travel. Okay. And people are like, oh, we've been doing this. They did something. People go higher in space. Yeah, no shit. No one gives a fuck about that. We're talking about travel. These people have had zero training. They've had next to no training. And these were completely two different methods of flight. The Virgin motherfucker, Richard Branson, he used a jet-propelled aircraft, not a rocket. And no one's fucking done that and gone to space like that and came back down.
It can cruise outside of the atmosphere,
Right.
Which is the first thing.
But not in orbit, right? Isn't that the whole thing? Okay.
No.
Cruises.
Yeah.
Like he can.
But
yeah,
it's
he can go
still
where he wants.
something that hasn't been done. And he's not an astronaut. He's just a fucking guy. So my point is like it's an innovation.
Wait, did Richard Branson do it alone?
See,
No,
that's
Okay,
what I'm saying.
There's a crew.
I thought
They
they
fly
just
this
Richard
thing?
Branson,
Like,
it was just
I thought they were just like on
But
it.
you have to consider.
billionaire.
You have to consider when people go up into space, they spend months in different forms of fucking training, whether it's deprivation and fucking all the oxygen shit, the pressure shit. They didn't have to do that because of where the tech and the innovative craft is at. That's where the shit is at. So it's just basically a benchmark for now. The next step is after the next level of capitalistic demographics hit, they take their turn on the ride, then they figure out how to put more people on there, and then you're being able to travel way faster than airplanes, and then you're gonna be able to take casual tours in space. That's all. That's all it is. If you look at it more than that, you're overthinking it. It's not any more impressive than that. It is a historical moment for travel. No one did anything else crazy, and they're rich, so they're gonna do that. You don't need those people to do it, but those are the people who have the money to keep innovating our shit. You want your phones to be fast? Then maybe shut up sometimes. That's all I had to say. That's all I'm saying on it.
All I'm saying is,
did you enjoy it?
Lower the price at Whole Foods, bro. This shit's crazy. But did I enjoy what the thing, like the whole? I enjoyed the.
Did you watch any of it?
I watched none of it, dude.
I didn't watch it.
I saw his crazy ass fucking getting interviewed like on the stand just before he got on the rocket, dude.
Saying some wild shit.
He's just in his dude. He was in his cowboy
probably
hat.
Scared to death.
Dude, he just like smiling with his eyes. He looked like a fucking robot, dog.
He
His
is,
shit's
well,
fucking.
he's
He
a
is a
robot.
robot. He is a robot.
He's like Silicon Valley dude. Like those guys are fucking. I watch Silicon Valley dudes. Those
guys are
billionaires are
weird.
fucked.
Oh yeah.
These are weird, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Gotta be.
You gotta be.
Activision. Bunch of weird motherfuckers, dog. But yeah, dude. I don't know what
He's like, I'm
saying,
sorry, I brought it back to that.
Yeah, I gotta bring it. They're all weird, dog.
Weird.
Weird. Whole Foods is too expensive.
I think we did it, man. We did it. We're getting like the horse is dead, and we're about to start beating it. The horse is dead. Jacob,
What's up, dog?
where can they get us if they wanna get us?
If you want to hit us up, explain to us how the Hurricanes are going to solve the goaltending issues.
I thought you were gonna be like, explain to us how the innovations of space travel should go down and who should pay for it.
If you can tell us how Richard Branson flew into space.
And this shit is usually government like fucking
regulated and controlled.
This
and
wasn't. This was 100% private.
That is the great thing about it.
Innovated. You were.
At Talkin Sauce Pod, no _ respect. The _ if you're watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell.
Do it.
This week was weird, but podcast every Monday, Scrum every Wednesday.
Sometimes. TBD.
Sometimes. You'll see. Keep an eye out for it.
We're not going to do like big things coming. Big things coming soon. Because that's like.
There's nothing big.
Well, it's not big.
There's nothing big coming.
Well,
It's not coming.
I'm coming.
Not yet.
Hit me up at JCobb, JAY_COBBB. Josh.
What? CABZZ.
Dylan.
Find me on Reddit at Teabagsymum 69420 lowercase x capital X. That's you Teabagsymum 69420 lowercase x capital X.
Yup.